I'm gonna skin this Wolverine. This is an animal that I'm a fur buyer, so I bought this Wolverine from one of the trappers in the neighboring communities. And if you're watching, Sammy, it's a beautiful animal, and I'll try to do you proud on this one. So I'm gonna skin this guy out for taxidermy. I had a request to skin a wolf out for taxidermy, and I don't know if I'm gonna be catching a wolf, so I'm gonna do this beautiful Wolverine. I'm gonna skin this guy out for taxidermy. So the first thing I start out with is I'll comb the animal out with, get all the branches and dirt and everything out of the animal. That's the number one thing I'll start with. So this is a fairly important step, because if you don't get all the branches and dirt out of the animal, you're going to find that when you put it on the fleshing beam, that's where you're gonna end up cutting a hole into, right where that burr, that hard spot is. And on a nice looking Wolverine like this, or a nice looking animal, any animal for that matter, the last thing you want is you want a nice big hole in it. Alright. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find where his pad is on this Wolverine. I'm going to skin up from the base of the pad to the elbow on the front leg. And what I'll do is I'll skin this leg out a little bit. Once you can get your fingers through here, I don't have my saw along. Where my saw is. what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this bone off here, and I'm going to skin the paws out after I'm done skinning the Wolverine. So on a wolf, I'll take and cut it off here, but there won't be enough to hang the animal from later on, and I'll show you what I mean there. So I'm going to cut this bone right here. And I don't have my saw, my nice saw in here, so I'll use this saw. So now the front leg is as far as I want it. I might do a little bit back down here. Okay. Now I'll do the next one. I'll give this knife a sharpen. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the belly side of the vent, because you want the vent, you want the anus on the animal. You don't leave any fur on the Wolverine if you skin for taxidermy. So I'm going to go on the vent, on the belly side. I'm just going to go in. You got to watch out for its glands. The Wolverine has glands on both sides of the vent. Find the elbow. And you just skin it just like any other animal. Now Wolverine and wolves are Wolverines and wolves are they don't give up their fur very easily. So there's a lot of cutting involved. And take your time. When I skin a coyote or a fox or a marten or whatever, I'm rushing through it. But when you skin a wolf or a Wolverine and you're skinning it out for taxidermy, you want to take your time. You don't want to rush things. You don't want to make a mistake. And if you guys can't see everything, I do apologize. Skinning an animal on camera, if you don't have a camera guy, is kind of difficult. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hang it up by the other paw, and I'll get the other paw, the other leg just started like this. And I'm just going to probably be hanging this animal always up by one leg, just so you guys can have a better view. Okay. So now my main cut is done from this heel to this heel. Okay? And I'm just starting on the belly side here, getting the fur loose. This is a male. Forgot to mention that. It's much easier when it's hanging by both legs, but so now you want to cut, you want to lift up on this anus. Okay. And you're leaving the entire anus, and that's where his glands are, right too, right there. I don't know if you can see it, but right there is his glands. You don't want to cut into the glands. So what I do is I'm going to leave this on one side, but I got to get down to the tail. So, because I want to split the tail and I don't want to have a flap here. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to go I think that would, I usually have it hanging up, so what I'll do is I'll first finish this leg, cut this leg off, and then I'll hang it up on both legs and I'll move the camera. I don't know if you guys can see. I've tried. So one thing you gotta be careful with a Wolverine is you don't have very much area to work with here, and you want to be able to hook it into something to hang it up. So when you cut this Wolverine's legs off, the back paws, don't cut here because you'll have nothing to hang the Wolverine up on later. Because you want to put your hook into this Achilles tendon. So I'm going to cut it here. Where is it? I'm going to have to split it a little bit further. I don't skin very many Wolverines. I've only become a fur buyer in the last year here, so and the trap line that I own, I don't have I don't have a lot of Wolverines on the line. So I don't skin. This is probably only my 4th Wolverine I've ever skinned. Something like that. Okay. So now I'll take and I'll cut this leg off on the pad side of this Achilles heel so I can still hang it up. Probably about here. Okay. There. So now I can hang this Wolverine up. by its back leg. There we go. Now I'll do the same thing on the other. You can still see. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll hang this up now and I'll turn the camera back on.